One of the components for rituals is that it orients us. Often it reorients. So when we've been in a place of, whether it's loss or change, what naturally follows is a kind of disorientation. Even in good moments, we find ourselves disoriented, trying to make meaning of what is this new way of existing, being, etc. And so we need rituals to help us reorient to the things that matter most to us, or to reorient to the meaning that is trying to emerge in our lives. I don't know about you, but January has been rough. And I've seen this consensus, all over the socials, that January has been a really rough start. And for me, it has been rough partly because of Omicron and just all the ways that has disrupted some of the new normal that I've been cultivating. But also the holidays in particular were very painful. And so I was just trying to get through December. And so by the time January hit, with doing a kind of a makeshift dry January, I was cornered with a lot of the pain that I was staving off. And so that has been disorienting. And so I think I just wonder for you all, what kind of pain have you been in, if any? If not, wonderful, I'm jealous. But no, I think just to be wondering for yourselves, like, what has this new year meant for you? Has it been disorienting? Has it cornered you with maybe not pain, but a question of like, what am I doing with my life? What is the meaning of my life? What am I aiming towards? And so I just want to give us some time to kind of reorient to our longings and to make space to release. The word release comes from the Latin word relaxare, which means to stretch out and then to loosen. And I love that gesture. I love you have to stretch out and loosen, and that's the action behind releasing. I think with disorientation, we end up holding on to a lot of things that might serve us for the short term, but aren't really cultivating the longings that we have in our life. I'm going to give you some time to think about what you need to release as you move into more of the desires and longings of your heart for this new year. And with that, we will bless our body and our heart and soul and mind at the end. I want to give you just a moment to think about, one, let's return you maybe first to some of your longings. What have you, if you can kind of get yourself back into like, what has your heart been trying to tell you that maybe has been difficult to hear? And so give yourself a moment. I'm actually gonna sing over you, which, we'll see how that goes. But it's a song that I've been singing over my daughter over the last month or so. So take a moment and be returned to what are your desires? What have been your longings that maybe have been stagnant or put on hold because of the holidays that you are coming back to. And here's the thing: if no really clear longings come up for you, the fact that you're here right now speaks to a longing. And so maybe it's a question of like, why are you here right now? What is it about this time that informs your longing, that will transpire into your regular life, the life that you live outside of this little moment in time? So the song I'm going to sing is Blackbird. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were always waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life, You were always waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, and blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were always waiting for this moment to arise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see. All your life you were always waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. All your life you were always waiting for this moment to arise. All right, so hopefully you had some time to just contemplate, like, what is it about, like, what are your longings, what are your desires? And then now I want you to take a moment to consider, what is it that you need to clear and release? Remember, release being a stretching out and then a loosening of your hands. And I want you to think about that gesture. But what is it that you're needing to clear and release that keeps you from really leading into what you are longing for in your life? And again, if you don't have clear longings right now, remember, you being here is a part of what you're longing for. So why are you here? So as you think about, and as you kind of sense, like, a really embodied sense of, like, what is it that I need to release? Is it rage? Is it control? Is it the expectations of others, the expectations of the world, of where you need to be at this particular juncture? Is it certain relationships that need to be released? And so take your bowl, and I want you to place the bowl, if you can, at arm's reach, because I want you to have the experience of reaching and releasing, because I don't think releasing is meant to be this kind of like drop in the bucket. Okay, I'm done. I think you need the physical stretching that reminds not just your mind, but also your body that to release really requires an action that stretches. And then in that stretch and in that reach, then you can release. And I believe that will have a far more powerful sensation than just kind of right here dropping it. So I'm going to do it right here, dropping it, just so that I don't disturb, or I don't know, it just makes more sense to me for me to stay right here. But begin to name and do the action of releasing. So if you're just showing up, releasing the things that hinder you from leaning into your desires and your longings. What are you releasing? And releasing, I don't think is a one-time thing, but something that you go back to remind your body, remind your soul, like the things that you're not meant to hold on to, that are not meant for you to hold. And there will be grief. There will be a sense of emptiness that comes. And part of the invitation is to stay with the grief or the emptiness. Release. 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 Stretch out your arms and loosen your grip. Release. And if you need to say just one thing over and over again, that can be a really significant gesture. Repetition can really help us move into the thing that we're trying to do, trying to bring our soul and our body into. So if it's just one thing that you need to release, do it over and over again. Say it, speak it, do the gesture. What are you not meant to hold? Maybe you want to hold it, but you're not meant to hold. I'm going to give us just a little bit longer. I'm curious if we can speak to what was being released. So if there are a word or a statement that you would like to bring us into that speaks to what you're releasing, please feel free to share it in the comments. It's a small way of creating a sense of community over IGT Live. So I'm grateful if you do share, but again, only if you feel comfortable. But I am curious, like, what are you having to stretch out, clear and stretch out and release that has prevented you from stepping into your longings? So if you feel comfortable, please share in the comments, and then we'll move into our last portion. Fear of the unknown. Yeah. Whew. There's a lot that I like to hold on to when I'm fearing the unknown. I'm like a mule. I feel like a pack mule. Yeah. Yeah. Emily, thanks so much for sharing. Fear of failure and fear of success. God, those are, same spectrum, just different sides, right? Ridicule and being different. Self-indictment, fear of my glory. Control and responsibility, Fear of future and community. Fear of my reactions and trusting what hasn't been safe but is now. My avoidance of what brings shame. my unwillingness to engage it. Thank you to each of you for naming those things. I appreciate that. And it's true. I mean, I think I feel close to my tears right now because there's really good reasons why we hold on to some of these things, and we're not promised. We're not promised that things will all work out and will be good. I think of Dan Allender's words that about hope always requires, maybe not requires, but invites us into suffering. And so I think that's part of what we know intuitively, that if we step into what we long for and what we desire, there will be a cost. And then we have to weigh out, right? Is the cost worth it, or is there, or is it better to remain small and to remain safe? And some days that's true. Some days it's better to remain safe. But I think we're all meant to take risks when it's time. Carrie, the question is, so we were moving into and doing this action of releasing, and releasing the things that prevent us from stepping into our longings and our desires. And so that's what people were sharing. So I want to honor, I think I first want to honor, and maybe that's part of what we do for just a moment. I want to honor what we've held on to and what we hold on to. Because they come from these younger places in us, right? They come from strategies that we've had to learn in order to survive, in order to navigate a complicated world. So if you want to take first your essential oil of choice and let your sense of smell take it in. And again, our sense of smell is, I mean, we all know this probably, but it is just a really powerful scent that is the thing that can transport us back into, right, a memory, like so immediately. And so I think it's really important that you give yourself fragrances and associate those fragrances with things that you're moving through or things that you need to be reminded of. And so let this fragrance remind you that first and foremost, we honor the things that we've had to hold on to. So take it in. I honor my need to manage how people see me. Breathe that in. I honor the ways that I procrastinate because of my fear of living into my glory and beauty. So if you can speak those out loud to yourself, let your voice be used here, and just honor that. Okay. What we hold on to that prevents us from leaning into our longings, desires, is not meant to be just eradicated, right? It's meant to be with our good, gentle hands taken out from us, stretched out so that I think, one, we can see what we're holding on and to see it for what it is, right? And then be able to let our hands release it. But not without honoring, right? Not without seeing why we've needed it and in some ways where it's helped us, but also seeing its limitations. So we release because risking onto our longings is the call. So again, take your essential oil, and we're just going to begin to very simply bless the parts of our body, different parts of our body, and to know that I think each part of our body is also a metaphor, so when we bless our eyes, we're blessing our literal eyes, but also this act of seeing that is more on an intuitive or psychological level. So let's take the oil. And together, let us bless our eyes for what they're meant to see and to know. Bless our eyes as they see maybe difficult, complicated things. Bless them as they at times need to look away. But we bless them so that they will see what we need to move towards in order to live into the calling that is on our lives. We bless our mouths. We bless them, for they are meant to speak good, beautiful, noble, risky things. That our mouths call into existence the things that matter. Let us bless our mouths. Let us bless our hearts. The way that our hearts work tirelessly on our behalves. Let us remember what it feels like to be attuned to our hearts. Let us remember what it feels like to be tender and the excitement of taking risks. Let us bless our hands. These hands that affirm life, that touch the things that we want to resurrect or call into existence. Bless these hands that create, that love, that reach both to release but also to seek. Let us bless our mind. Let us invite it to rest. As we try and make sense of the world, make sense of our pain, or make sense of being disoriented, let us bless our mind into rest. To call it to a sense of a seated posture so that our heart and our body can lead. Let us bless our stomachs, our second brain that knows a hell of a lot. Let's bless those stomachs that feel that hunger, that react to when things are not well. Let us bless our stomachs. They are the sixth sense for leading us into a lot of goodness and flourishing, and for helping us navigate complicated waters. Let us bless our stomachs. And now I just want to invite you to ask yourself, like, what else do you need to cover and bless right now? So I'll give you a moment just to consider, like, what part of your body that needs acknowledgement, because it's part of you leaning into your longings and your desires. So I'll give you a moment to speak over yourself. I hope that you can return to both the releasing of the rocks and the blessing of your body as you become clear about what it is you long for in this new year. And I do hope that there is such a deep bowing down to the ways in which you've had to hold on to certain things as you release them. I'm going to read you something and then we'll end our time. Before I do that, hey Jenny, are you doing yoga right after this? I always forget to mention that, but I want to do better about mentioning that. I'll let her answer. Usually Jenny from Haven Yoga Seattle does yoga right after, and I think that would be just a really lovely pairing of doing ritual and okay next time, not today. Okay. I'll have to organize that with you. Okay, this is from David White's new book of poetry, so good, and it's called My Courageous Life. My courageous life has gone ahead and is looking back, calling on me. My courageous life has seen everything I have been and everything I have not, and has forgiven me day after day. My courageous life still wants my company, wants me to understand my life as witness, and thus bequeath me the way ahead. My courageous life has the patience to keep teaching me how to invent my own disappearance and how, once gone, to reappear again. My courageous life wants to stop being ahead of me so that it can lie down and rest deep inside the body it has been calling on. My courageous life wants to be my foundation, showing me day after day, even against my will, how to undo myself, how to surpass myself, how to laugh as I go in the face of danger, how to invite the right kind of perilous love, how to find a way to die of generosity. Thank you all for joining me and for waiting 3 weeks. I appreciate it, and peace and blessings as you move into this new year. Goodbye.